name is Jill Totten, and I teach third grade. The objective I chose says to draw a scaled picture graph and a scaled bar graph to represent a data set with several categories. Solve 1 and 2 step how many more and how many less problems using information presented in a scaled bar graph. In my lesson, students will be able to collect data, students will be able to explain data collected in a graph, and they will be able to answer questions about the bar graph. To start my lesson, I will tell the students that we are going to collect data about everyone's favorite ice cream. A template is given to students to create their favorite ice cream. For students who do not like ice cream, they are given a sheet of paper in which they can create a yucky face to represent their data of not liking ice cream. I remind the students that there are many possible ways that they can create their ice cream. You can use crayons, markers, or construction paper. But we want to collect good data, so I have to remind the students again that if their favorite ice cream is chocolate, then their ice cream should be a brownish color. I will ask the students to start predicting what they think that the classroom's overall favorite flavor of ice cream will be. I will also ask what they think everyone's least favorite will be. Once the students have finished, they will come to the board and place their ice cream cone beside their favorite flavor. Once all students have placed their ice cream cones on the board, I will start asking questions such as which flavor has the most and which flavor has the least. This slide represents the data collected from the students. As the students see their data on the board, I will ask, how do these ice cream cones represent data within the classroom? After seeing the data my students collected, I want them to begin thinking about other ways to show this data. So I will ask, are there other ways we could show this data? I will then ask the students to help me create a pictograph. Before I begin, I remind the students that with the pictograph, there's always a key. A key will allow us to know what each picture stands for. I will tell the students that each ice cream scoop represents 2 people's favorite ice cream flavor. Together, we fill in the chart. After we create the pictograph, I will ask if there are any other ways that we could show this data. After the students answer, I will tell them that we are now going to create a bar graph with the same data. Together, the students and I will create the bar graph, and I'll allow the students to come up and draw the bar that represents the number of students who like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, cookie dough, and for the ones who don't like ice cream. Once the bar graph is created, this activity sheet is given to students. Students are able to work in groups or pairs to answer the questions. As a form of assessment, this worksheet is given to students to work on by themselves. This worksheet will allow me to see where each student is with their understanding of bar graphs. Following this worksheet, I will circle the ones missed on the student's paper. Within the next day, I will go over each missed problem with the student. This one-on-one time will help the student understand how to answer questions about bar graphs. Prior to the lesson, I kept in mind the students who may struggle with this math concept. In order to help the student or students, I placed each question on a slip of paper. This was done to ensure that the student doesn't get overwhelmed. As the student finishes each one, I collect the question and give a new slip. This action also allows for me to check for understanding. Communication is key within this lesson. It is important to allow time for students to talk about their learning. In this lesson, students were given time to talk to each other about the data they were collecting. Students also use communication and means to problem solve while creating graphs with their data. Communication is also used when students work in groups to answer questions. Students were exposed to technology with use of the Promethean board. This allowed for students to see the data they collected. While collecting data and creating the graphs, students use evaluating, analyzing, and applying found in Bloom's revised taxonomy.